Welcome. You're just seconds away from the Brawdy Show, where listener participation is strongly encouraged. Well, unless, of course, you're easily triggered, then listener discretion is strongly advised. And if you fall into the latter camp, why don't you just mortal up already?
Thanks for listening to the Brian Brawdy Show. It's time to mortal up.
Good afternoon once again. Learning, right? Everything's talking about big tech today. So I'm learning some of my own tech here. So thank you very much. We are in episode, what is this called? 529. Ignore the herd. Very crafty, Wayne, the way you did that. Ignore the herd. Look at how the words are all looking like honeycombs and bees. This is as good a time as any to give Wayne a shout out as the executive producer. He does all kinds of cool things to make sure we can get up and running every single day, including creating the really cool graphics. So, Wayne, how the heck are you?
I'm hanging in there, still getting things going here.
I know. It's hard to bother you. I remember when I was a little kid and my mom used to come home and she would go, "Would you just let me get in the door before you barrage?" All 5 kids would go running up to her and she'd go, "Will you just let me take my coat off before you start hitting me with everything?" So I imagine that's a little bit of what it's like for you, but thank you for everything you do to get us up and going. We have so much to talk about today. And I say it every day, but this show really does write itself, right? It's like you get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, as one would, right? You get up and you go, all right, so, we're just now 7 hours away from the show. And what are we going to talk about? And you hit maybe 1, 2, 3 news feeds, and you've produced enough of the Brian Brawdy Show for a week. But before we hop into it, let me thank my good friends listening on YouTube, over on Twitter. I affectionately call it Spitter, the Blue Bubble Verse, Jack's House. Listening over on Jack's House, and of course here on Mug Pamphlet. I'll get right into our New York Post top stories. But apparently little Marky Mark on Mug Pamphlet had a hard time getting his tech to work as they were getting ready to do these shows now today. So I'm like, what is it? A show. It's his appearance, right? His appearance in front of the Senate. He couldn't get the camera to work. He couldn't get maybe a Zoom call, right? And what he should have done is taken the class that I know that Jeff Toobin is offering now, how to conquer your fear of public speaking when you're live on Zoom. Maybe Marky Mark could benefit from that, right? I'm just saying, you'd think if you're Mark, you could get someone to know how to handle the tech at both ends. Spend a small fraction of your billions, have one of your guys or your girls, don't want to mansplain, have one of your guys or girls go to Capitol Hill, you sit in the cushy confines of wherever, right? And then have your noodling go and run the camera at the other end. But no, so we'll get to that. So, Wayne, if you've got everything, all the bells and whistles, all the slides are lining up, why don't we go ahead and kick off with our first segment for episode 529. The question begs to be asked. So we will. Twitter, a bird of prey, a voracious raptor, or a little Tweety bird? You make the call. You know what? Let me just say, in case if the first-time listeners, and let me also thank everyone for listening. If you're over at radiobry.com listening live or mortalup.com listening live, of course, you could also be listening to the tape replay on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio. Thank you very much for doing so. All right, so here's what we're doing. You know, if you've been listening, that every day we kick off the show, top of the show, we kick off with everything going on over the New York Post, the top 3 stories. And why do we do that? So here's a little bit of a disclaimer. It's nothing personal against Jack Dorsey. It really isn't, right? Which one of us hasn't been fired from a job because he left early to go to a yoga class? That's ridiculous. I like the guy. He seems like a cool guy. All I'm asking is if he's delegating all this authority, It's time to re-engage. Wayne, it's like that show in the original Top Gun. Maverick, engage, damn it, right? You got to get back in the fight, brother. You got to get back in. You can't let your underlings run the show because they're going to sink you, pal. So put down a little bit of the yoga mat, right? Put on some pants that don't have drawstrings, head on into the office and smack some people around. Because if you did, we wouldn't be doing this segment. So in protest to the New York Post being throttled over on Twitter because they refuse to jump through some brainiac's hoops, and they want to continue the story about Bunter Hyden, which, if you happen to see that interview last night with Tucker Carlson, oh, yeah. But in any event, that's not this segment. We're just saying, Jack, come on, right? Get away from the gong and the incense. I know, I love it too, but get away, come back over and regain control of your ship because it's been hijacked, and the people that you've put in power that supposedly know what they're doing, they're idiots. They're morons, right? Brains masquerading as intellects. You just got to get rid of them. So the top 3 stories today, and we'll keep doing it until you reinstate the New York Post. It's the number 4 feed on Twitter, Wayne. I don't know if you knew that. Number 4 in terms of news feeds on Twitter. More followings than New York Post. So the number 1 story today, tech honchos face Senate grilling over posts Hunter Biden expose. You can watch it live, but Facebook is there, Twitter's there, Google's CEO is there. It says the CEOs of the top 3 nations' tech firms, Google, Twitter, and Mug Pamphlet, are being grilled by a Senate panel on Wednesday after coming under fire for the censorship, specifically blocking the Post reporting on Hunter Biden, as we love him here. You know, we call it Biden or Hunting. Or is it Biden Hunter? No, whatever we call it here to get past the little brainiac fact checkers. But apparently they're being torn into today to the degree that Marky Mark can actually get there. That's one of the top 10 trending stories on the New York Post. Also, and we did a little bit yesterday to preface this, Amy Coney Barrett given RBG's room, so ACB becomes RBG's seat warmer, right? She's going to move right in. I'm hoping Amy brought her own chair, but you get my drift. They're going to do the digs over there. Amy Coney Barrett is going to be heading over to those chambers. She's probably there already. What a lot of people may not know, and what's interesting, let me say hello quickly to Jeremy from Afghanistan. Jeremy, thank you for your service. We're glad to have you here. Please tell everybody there we said howdy, and we're looking forward to having you home safe. So, Jeremy, as you may not know, what they aren't telling you in this story, and I'm surprised the number of people, Wayne, that we put it in, right? Look, if I put up a breaking news gong story, it's fake news, right? But in any event, the number of people responding, what they don't know is that RBG left a Ouija board. Ooh, very spooky. Left a Ouija board in her top desk drawer in case ACB wants to know how she should vote on any cases. In any event, there's the top 2 stories for today. The third story, and this is a little personal, Wayne, to me, but the third story trending on the New York Post, the Hunter Biden interview last night, Tony Bobulinski. And Bobulinski says in there, well, it's been really tough there. Everyone's, I don't want to say threatened, but everyone's warning him how tough things are going to be. And he's had to hire a former Navy SEAL team to protect his family. He seemed like an honorable guy. He's a former vet. He's got all kinds of things going on. So let me just throw my name into the hat to Mr. Bobulinski. Hey, Tony, I'm talking to you. If you need someone to come and protect your family, if you need someone to spell the Navy SEALs, I've got a history of being a bodyguard. I've got a history of protecting folks. So give me a holler. If you're listening to the feed, give me a holler. I'll go ahead and make sure nothing happens to your family. Like I said, if you want to give the Navy SEALs the weekend off, I've got a team. I know people. I know folks. I know some guys. We can come and make sure that your family is protected. Hell of a job last night. All right, Wayne, there you go. Right before the 10-minute segment, the top 3 stories of the New York Post. Hey, Jack, do the right thing. Let New York Post free on their Twitter account. Don't be a bully like the people underneath you. Let's just knock it off and get it to go. All right, Wayne, it's throwing it to you.
The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent.
All right, there you go. Views expressed, not right. So I should mention, don't let the things that I say taint certifiable brilliance. Don't let the things that I say taint. Why let the truth taint any of it? But that's a different segment. Don't let the truth, what I say, taint the good folks at counterpunch.media, right? These opinions are mine. People that call in this, there's opinions. Don't kill the messenger, right? Or, right? No, I'd be the messenger. Don't go after the friends that sponsor the messenger. That's not very cool. We don't want to do that. Not at all. All right, so now getting to it. Wayne, why don't we run with the second segment? And to be honest with you, I've even forgotten what it is. Amnesia, right? It's horrible. I've forgotten what it is. Just cue it and we'll go from there. Oh, please. Enough. Why not give it a rest already? No one around here is drinking your Kool-Aid. I love the gulping sound at the very end of that. Apparently, I'm going to have to clean that up a little bit, but I love the gulping sound. So here's the oh, please, right? And Wayne, thank you again. A new segment today. We're drum roll, new segment that we're doing here on the Brian Brawdy Show. Oh, please. Now, outside of lowlife's making, outside of all the rest of it, these are just things that you hear when you scratch your head and you go, what? What are you talking about? Oh, please, right? You hear people say, and you don't even have to look down at the feet. They know they're wearing slip-ons because their comments are so vapidly droolish that they haven't mastered the acumen yet of tying a bow in shoelaces. So they got to wear slip-ons, right? So here's my oh, please for today. Hits really close to home. I don't want, the names were changed to protect the innocent kind of thing, which we got to get that sound bite, Wayne. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. So here's the deal. I was privy to an email. Don't want to tell you who sent it. Don't want to tell you why I got the email, right? Because like Bob Alinsky, I got to protect my own family, right? So we'll get this email saying, oh, and this was something so insignificant on the radar, right? Unless you're woke. If you're woke, this is top of your mountain. I guess I'm getting that. And I put up a post on Facebook this morning. And here's the thing, Wayne. I'm starting to feel, not unlike Trump supporters that are afraid to tell anyone they're a Trump supporter, you put up a post about microaggressions, right? And how the only people they affect are micro minds. And people are scared to death, right? They're scared to death to like it, to share it, to go anywhere else because they go, I don't want people coming after me because I endorsed the thought of microaggressions only affect micro minds. Well, here you are, needle nits. You little vapid drool bags. I was sent an email talking about something that had happened, and they inadvertently, and it was absolutely inadvertent, happened to mix up a picture and a name. Happened to mix it up. And the email went on and on and on, like listening to someone work a speed bag when they don't know how to do it, right? On and on and on about how much they apologize and how we're so certain. We want to make sure that this type of microaggression, look, I get micro beers. You have to get micro chips, but microaggressions, please go like the old movie. What was that movie, Wayne? Oh, Jack Nicholson. Will you please go crazy, sell crazy somewhere else? So microaggressions only affect micro minds. But here's my conspiracy theory, right? Everyone would go, ooh, conspiracy theory. Are you sure, Bri? You want to run with this? Yes, I do. Here's a conspiracy theory. They want you to buy into the mashugana of microaggressions. Because again, if you can be lured, you can be led. They want you to buy into this concept that you've taken God's gifts and you've watered down your wherewithal to such a degree that these incoming insults from these brainiacs, right, that they actually pierce you, right? You're taking Shakespeare's slings and arrows. You're taking a sling and arrow from these brainiacs, and right, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. Well, they want you. They want you to go, well, I feel triggered. I'm offended, damn it, right? That's maligned. That's a microaggression. Grow up, you pantyweight. All I'm simply suggesting is that microaggressions affect micro minds. And I'm simply saying that because what has happened to human beings? You have to invite that insult in. You have to invite, if it is an insult, good God, a microaggression. What happens if you get below? Is that like a super microaggression? You have to invite that in. You have to let it ricochet around. You have to buy into this lunacy to be derailed from your everyday. microaggressions. Will you please? Oh, please. Enough. Nobody here is drinking your Kool-Aid. Microaggressions. What kind of human being is triggered by a microaggression, right? You talk about ignore the herd. You talk about their attempts to malign human beings. You want to give human beings a bad name? First way to start is convince them that they're susceptible to microaggressions, which would be a good time, and I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to record it, a good time for my segment that just says, oh, not this segment, hi, Miss Putnam, nice to see you. Not the segment that says, hi, Miss Putnam, or hi, Jeremy, please say hello to everybody in Afghanistan. Not that segment, but the segment where I say, your opinion of me, I literally couldn't care less. I couldn't, I pick, when I say couldn't care less, I picture like a marble, rock bottom. And how could one, if I had a jackhammer, I couldn't get lower in terms of how less I could care about your opinion. I can't, I couldn't, I just can't. So microaggressions happen not with hate speech, but with hate hearing. You have to let those microaggressions in to do any damage. And all I'm saying is just slam the door on them, right? Just say, that's it, I've had enough. And no more, don't sign for the package. If UPS shows up and they need your signature before you can accept the package, and you refuse to answer the doorbell, you just refuse. You're like, no, I don't think I will, right? They have to take the package away, right? If you don't sign for it, they take it away. Well, when it comes to microaggressions, all I'm saying is don't sign for it. Don't buy into their craziness. Don't buy into their vapidity. That's all I'm suggesting. So microaggressions are in the mind of the beholder. And don't let them convince you. Don't let them water you down. Don't let them perforate your skin. Don't let them turn your spine into balsa wood. Don't let them brittleize your brain. You don't have a brittle brain. We talked today about the natural resources, and we'll get into it a good bit in Mortal Up coming up at the top of the hour. But why let somebody in to ruin your sense of self? It makes no sense to me. Microaggressions. Good God, get a hold of yourself. And as I said, oh, please, enough already. Nobody's drinking the Kool-Aid. All right, Wayne, so what else we got going on today? I know you were busy right in the beginning, but anything else that before we get to the next segment, anything else you want to talk about?
Not right now.
No, thank you very much for the text.
I'm watching the clock.
You're watching the clock. Okay, I love it too. Thank you so very much. I super appreciate it, which is a good reason to thank our friends listening on Twitter, our friends listening or watching over on YouTube, and of course, here in Facebook. Nice to see everyone. And if you're catching the show on RadioBri.com, the virtual hitchhiker, we love, the phone, we'll go along. We fit perfectly in your cup holder. So if you want to take us while you're out and about, running around, doing your errands. Now, look, here's all I'm going to say about Marky Mark here at Mug Pamphlet. If he had taken us with him, he could have called us and we could have said, look, here's how we fix your technical glitches, right? Tony Bobolinsky. If he needs, it's just like, right, like hitting the bat phone, hit the Bri phone. Give us a text. Let us know. We'll hook you up, right? But if you're out and about running around, what a perfect time to take us with you. You don't need to worry about a radio station. You don't need to worry about this or that. You can take us. Just go to RadioBri.com. It's playing right there. Thank you, if that's the way you're listening. Also on, iHeartRadio, iTunes, of course, Spotify. We're filling in. So thank you so very much for listening, if you are. All right, we're going to run to a very, 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 it's kind of like our version of a station break. Very, very short, barely a whisper. We're going to run to that. We'll be right back.
Portions of this broadcast have been pre-recorded.
Why? Because you can't get these people to hit a call time. They're the worst. Nah, I'm just kidding. We love our guests. And we do. Let me say hello to the people texting in from LinkedIn. Wayne, a couple different things I need to know. And one I think you've already explained to me, so I won't bother you with that. But what's it going to take to be able to go live on LinkedIn? What's that all about?
They never responded to you. You had applied.
We did apply? Okay, good. And they didn't apply. Well, there's once again big tech throttling us back because the little people, I'm assuming, I don't know, right? But the people at LinkedIn don't like what we're saying, don't like what we're doing. I'm guessing. I don't know. So there's all of that.
We'll just have to do a
God
follow-up.
love you. I'm sorry. Who's the big tech CEO over at LinkedIn? It's got to be owned by, well, big tech doesn't want any competition. So it's probably a parent of a parent of a parent company that owns them all. I'm guessing. I don't know. All right, Wayne, let's go ahead. Oh, look at that. I hit another call time. Let's go ahead and cue up the next segment. Today's Lowlifes Making Headlines, or as we like to call it around here, brains that make your blood boil. Here's your brittle brain atop a balsa wood spine for today. And I wish in the studio I had enough room to hold my head. Oh, in my hand, Congressman Head in the Deer Lights, Deer in the Headlights, Mr. Meshuggah himself, however he pronounces it, Congressman Adam Shifty Schiff is our lowlife making headlines for the day. Now you might be saying, let me say hello to Michael really quick. Michael, thank you so much for joining us. Very, very much. Janice, thank you for joining us. Ms. Putnam. Mr. Brawdy, thank you so very much for joining us here on the Brian Brawdy Show. So why is Shifty Schiff, Adam Meshuggah Schiff, the lowlifes making headlines for today? All right, look, if you took in the Tony Bobolinsky interview, if you didn't, it's not in the media today, but it's all over everywhere else, right? Heaven forbid a news agency actually report about it, right? Reporters reporting as opposed to distorting. And not all reporters are guilty of it. I'm not saying that. I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater, right? Just like there some bad cops? Absolutely. Are there some bad reporters? Absolutely. Are there some bad, right? In every profession has their bad guys and their bad girls. Get off your high Shetland pony, little whiner, right? Everyone has some bad, right? But we don't throw what is it? What was the old saying? One bad apple, Michael Jackson's tune, one bad apple doesn't spoil the whole bunch. You can't paint with a broad brush, can't throw out everyone. I'm talking about these reporters that restort just the facts, man. Forget about that distort the news. Another distortion. You listened to this interview last night, Bobolinsky, and Adam Schiff is on again calling it Russian disinformation. I'm so sick of Adam Schiff. Now, whether you believe the claims or not, right? Does Adam Schiff talk about a one-trick pony, right? Like, Wayne, let's think back to the 70s, 80s, and 90s, like Flock of Seagulls. I think they had one hit, right? These are these one-hit wonders. Adam Schiff is a one-hit wonder because for years he's been saying, Russia, Russia, Russia. I'm surprised he doesn't have vocal cord nodules, right? Russia, Russia. And it makes me think he'd be the perfect candidate, Wayne, when you talk about masks being muzzles. Adam Shifty Schiff. Why don't you stay home in California, Adam, and work on one of the 100 things that people in your state are struggling with? Russia, Russia, we need another Russia, 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 Russia. Celebrity and voices are impersonated here on the Brian Brawdy Show. Just want to make sure everybody knows that. Russia, Russia, right? Talk about a one-trick pony. Talk about a one-hit wonder. He's our lowlifes making headlines for today because, I don't know, maybe you don't believe Bobolinsky, but here's a decorated, and he served in the military. His family, he's been getting a clearance that very few people listening here will ever achieve in the military or the government. A top secret clearance. And you think the guy is a Russian plant? That's really your opinion? Talk about dimwit dialogues. Maybe Adam Schiff should win both the lowlifes making headlines for today and the dimwit dialogues. So just as opposed to letting the story air, how gullible, how stupid, how vapid, how absolutely filled with drool does Adam Schiff think we are to fall for his, it's Russian disinformation. Russia, Russia, Russia. It's all on Russia. Sick and tired of hearing. When is he up for re-election? Wayne, can you figure that out? Right? How is it? Like Hank, the island of Guam is going to tip over if we put another tank on it. How do these brainiacs get elected? And I know gerrymandering, for all the political science experts that are now going to text in and go, well, they get elected through gerrymandering. Yeah, right. You still have to find other brainiacs that vote these people in. Senator Hirono, another lowlife making headline, right? And let me say this. I think a part of it, just like I said before about microaggressions, I think when people say, well, are you pro-Democrat or pro-Republican? Are you pro this or are you pro that, right? Can I just tell you, Wayne, what I realized, what I've come to understand I am, after the 5 brain surgeries, what is Brian 2.0, right? When all the doctors warned my wife, yeah, he's not going to come back. Brian 2.0. You better say goodbye to Brian 1.0. Now I wish they could all say goodbye. I bet you they wish they could say goodbye to Brian 2.0. But they all wanted to say goodbye to Brian 1.0. But you know what I think, right? When everything calms down, Wayne, do you know what I think it is?
Nope. Tell me.
Well, you didn't have a drum roll queued up? No, tell me. Okay, I think I will.
No,
I
was looking up the I was looking up the shift re-election time. He's up. He's up in November.
He's up this November?
Yep.
Okay, I have my new favorite election I'm watching. Please, for the love of all that's good, if anyone from California in his district is listening, I'd ask you, what has he done for you? Other than the soundbite for a Russian dressing commercial. Oh, maybe some of those stackable Russian dolls. He could do it. Well, you could do that, Wayne, right? Some of the stackable Russian dolls thing, right? Because then you could just use his words. Russia. I got to learn how to record something off the TV, and then I'm just going to replay his words time and time again. Russia. All right, so in any event, here's what I figured. Everyone and their brother and sister climb down off your little hobby horse. Brother and sister is busy talking about never Trumpers. And here's what I've come to believe, Wayne. There are a group of people out there, never humans. They don't want you to experience your ultimate wherewithal, your pre-watered down wherewithal. They don't want you to tap your natural resources, right? Because you're easier to control if they can confiscate your cognition. If your brain is filled with philosophical phlegm, like a cat coughing up a hairball, that's a soundbite I need. If your brain is filled with philosophical phlegm, your mind is filled with cobwebs from years of having a confiscated cognition, they're like, hey, this makes it easier for me to play him or her like a puppet. And that's what's happening to us. So, never Trumpers, I'm coming out against never humans, where they don't want you exercising your full rights. They don't want you exercising your full mental wherewithal. The last thing they want you to do is remember the gifts that God gave you. They can't handle that. Because the moment you and I lose that slumber, right? We lose some of that stuff the Sandman delivers at night. As soon as we remember who we ultimately are, those gifts from God, as soon as we remember that and we mortal up, we're going to be like Bradina Pitt in the movie Troy. Is there no one else right after he slays the big guy, right? He looks at the opposing army. Is there no one else? Is there no one else? Well, they live in fear of the day that you mortal up. They live in fear of the day that you remember who you ultimately are, outside of all their panty-weight microaggressions. Oh, the shame of it all, right? Oh, I don't know how I'm going to get through the day. Somebody's busy. Oh, right? Oh, I know. It'll be okay, Muffin. It'll be okay, Sparkles. It'll be okay. You'll recover from the microaggression that you had to give permission to enter your own sense of self. Cry me a river. All right, Wayne, that was Low Life's Making Headlines. Thank you. Make sure you get the certificate out as soon as possible to Adam Shifty Shift, because who knows? Maybe we can keep our fingers crossed, Wayne. Maybe, just maybe, he doesn't get reelected come November. Please, 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 for the love of all that's good, vote him out. Wayne, I'll give it to you.
You're listening to The Brian Brawdy Show. Why? Because you know the truth when you hear it. He'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Brian Brawdy Show, brought to you by our good friends at Counterpunch Media and Certifiable Brilliance. It's time to buckle up. Yeah, Wayne, I thank you for that. That's a little bit of a rant, a little bit of a rave. You know, the things that have gotten to me since we last got a chance to hang out together, right? It just makes you want to pull your hair out. Right? It just makes you just want to go, I can't believe that this is some of the stuff that we're subject to. Adam Shifty Shift. whatever, microaggressions, whatever. Remember who you are, right? I don't want to give away Mortal Up today, the Mortal Up Minute coming up at the end of the show, but remember all that you're capable of, right? Magnify the moment. All right. So, Wayne, I think it's just about time for you to open the phone lines. I don't want to steal your magic. I don't want to steal your thunder, but take it away.
The phone lines are open. Now's your chance to mortal up and give Brian a shout because your opinion deserves to be heard. Dial toll-free 1-833-MORTAL-1. That's 833-MORTAL-1.
All right. And as I said this morning, thank you very much, Big Bill. As I said this morning, this whole thing about microaggressions only affect micro minds. And I said, I'm throwing down the gauntlet. So give us a call. If I'm wrong, call me. Grow a set and call me. Let me know what it is that you're so certain, right? Let me know those ways in which you're so certain that I'm wrong about microaggression. Brittle brains atop balsa wood spines. Let me know. All right. You can also text us. You know, if you want to be slapped around with a text gauntlet, you can text me 833-667-8251. And that's toll free 833-667-8251. Or of course you can call us if you like. If you'd rather have the words. 833-MORTAL and the numeral 1. You can remember that because I think when it comes to being immortal, you are number one. I know you're thinking, oh, is that a statement on quantum physics? Yes, but it's also a statement philosophically of what I believe when it comes to the number one perception of immortal. You are the perception that's the focus that counts. So, Wayne, it just makes me want to pull my hair out when you see people running around drinking the Kool-Aid, buying into the Meshuggah, right? Like putting themselves underneath the flashing blue light at the old Kmart, at the marked down tchotchke tables at the back of the store, marking themselves down, devaluing themselves, believing that their ultimate value is a penny stock. It drives me insane because that's what I realized driving in this morning, that I'm going to stand against the never humans. Right? Like I said, in addition to the never Trumpers, I'm going to stand against the never humans, the ones convincing you, right? Oh, you need to have a goal. You need to have a 10-bedroom house. You need to have 17 cars. You need a 4-year and then a master's and a PhD and a this and a that. You need to be a Rhodes Scholar. You don't need any of that. Everything you've ever needed, you've always had. So I'm coming out, if I haven't already, I'm coming out in defense of anyone. I'm going to stand in the way of anyone, standing in the way of you. I'm going to come out against the never humans and simply say, look, it all comes down to having a serious discussion with your mirror. Remember who you ultimately are. Don't be brainwashed. Don't be boondoggled. Don't fall for the gullible drool coming out of these people. Speaking of gullible drool, Wayne, we're about ready for, what are we ready for? Oh, yeah, we got enough time to sneak this in. But did you see I'm 0 for 3? I've 3 times hit the perfect signal mark.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have. The clock is right here. Go sell crazy somewhere else. All right, so let's go with the next segment. Jousting with journalists. Cracking the eggshell intellects parading as reporters.
Well,
doing their best, giving the Fourth Estate a bad name, breaking certain news stories like hitting a piñata with a bat. You know, I should have said a piñata with a baseball bat so that everyone could get that last little bit. But right now, let me just say as a disclaimer, I have some journalists that are the most important people to me in my life, right? They're just dear, 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 dear friends. So this isn't about all journalists. As I said before, we're not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. That's not what we're all about. Right? We're talking about these people.
well,
And you know who I'm talking about, right? The elevator doesn't go all the way to the top floor. Or maybe, Wayne, when you think of jousting with journalists, these are people that have fallen at like narcissists, right? Fallen in love with their own reflection in the camera lens. So all they want are more Twitter followers. All they want are more viral videos. All they want is, who was the guy that first started all the Scud Stud? Whatever happened to that guy from the first Gulf War? Guy that used to report for the Circus News Network. I forget his name. I think everyone forgets his name, right? But here's my thought. How about report? Instead of distorting the news from your own point of view, how about report the news? So we're going to run this segment today, Jousting with Journalists. Let me ask you a question, Wayne. This is a blanket jousting with journalists. MSNBC, or over on C-Scam, or the Circus News Network, or the National Propaganda Radio. Where's all the stories about Bobulinski and the fact that they're now saying it's a smear campaign? They're now calling him a liar. They're now saying, right, talking about watering down human wherewithal just because they won in office, just because the Biden-Huntons won in office, right? They're going to malign this guy's integrity, his character, his family. They're going to, right? They're going to threaten him.
Of course they are.
Of course they are, because that's the way these bullies work.
And as it goes on, we'll see the lawsuits.
Well, that's Wayne, thank you very much. And nice carrot at the end of the stick there, because I'm still going to hit the call time. Nice carrot at the end of the stick, because let me ask you, this guy's obviously made of money, right? This guy knows what it's about. So what's the deal? Can't he sue some of these people? Or the politicians, right? Oh, you're faithful public servants. You're faithful public servants. Talk about a boatload of crap. If someone says, oh, you're lying, oh, you're a Russian agent, if someone maligns your very character, maligns the fact that you took an oath in the military to serve your country, if they malign your character in that way, can't you sue them? Or are politicians protected themselves to such a degree that they get to say whatever their vapid little minds want?
The Senate and the House members are pretty much protected. They've got protected speech. They can pretty much say anything they want on the floor of their chamber.
On the floor in their chamber. That's the
right,
key.
That's the key.
Yeah. We need to do it away with that law.
News media is a different story. We're seeing more and more lawsuits against the news media.
Good. I love it. I think Bobulinski, right, should go after and sue anyone that calls him a Russian agent, anyone that accuses him of a smear campaign, anyone, whether you believe him or not. Because here's the thing. Couldn't the people that are the target of his alleged slander come out and say, that's absolutely not true, don't know the guy, never heard of him, those aren't emails on my laptop. Of course, I don't know because I surrendered my laptop, right? They could come out and deny everything, but they haven't.
No, matter of fact, they've actually supported his
I think so.
Information.
Well, at least they're calling it, oh, it's a smear campaign. It's a smear campaign, I'll tell you. Deniable plausibility or plausible deniability. Unbelievable. All right, Wayne, hit it. So the phone lines are tied up, are they? Well, you're welcome to leave us a message. And because your voice deserves to be heard, we just might play the recording on air. So sit up straight, take a deep breath, belt it out, and let us know what you're thinking. All right, let us know what you're thinking. Don't forget the phone lines are open, 833-MORTAL and the numeral 1, Mortal 1, or 833-667-8251. 833-667-8251. Text us. You can leave us a text on Twitter. I'm getting some on Facebook, on LinkedIn. Thank you all very much. Yes, we are having a blast. And here's the thing, because once you decide that you're going to stand up for real humanity, not watered down humanity, right? Once you're going to stand up for the individual and all the gifts they were granted by the divine, however you define it. Look, if you're here, you scaled truly unimaginable odds to get here, right? I don't want to go into the whole thing. We'll save that for another mortal up segment down the road. But if your great-great-great-great-grandfather decided to play slap and tickle with anyone other than your great-great-great-great-grandmother, you wouldn't be here, right? Think of everything that's gone down in the last, let's say, 150 years, right, Wayne?
Yep.
If just one of those events, right? If your great-great-great-great-grandfather decided to take, okay, let's do it this way then, fine. If your great-grandfather decided to take someone other than your great-grandmother to the barn-raising party, rolling around in the hay afterwards, if your great-grandfather took someone else, you wouldn't be here. The odds that you're here are truly astronomical. So in defending you, defending those odds, defending your natural resources, what's it going to take for you to remember who you are? I'll go ahead and beat back everyone that's trying to beat you back. The Brian Brawdy Show will stand against anyone standing against you. It's left over from being bullied as a little kid. Right, Wayne? When I joke all the time about I got more head scars than most Vikings. Growing up with a hair lip, I know what it's like to be bullied. Being sent to a Catholic priest to talk it over, right? Only to be the target of this particularly handsy priest, right? I know what it's like to be bullied. Well, you better not say anything to your family. They're going to believe me over you, right? I've heard it all before. So all I'm simply suggesting is you go ahead and remember who you are, and I'll repel the brittle brains atop balsa wood spines that are busy attacking you. Just like I said to Bob Alinsky, look, give the Navy SEALs, the former Navy SEALs protecting your family, give them the night off. Let me know. I'll come protect them because that's just the way I feel about bullies. And the Brian Brawdy Show is going to stand in the way of anyone standing in the way of you. All right, if you're just joining us here, we're coming up on the closing quarter of the Brian Brawdy Show here at RadioBri.com or Twitter or YouTube. Thanks to Wayne, all the cool places. Obviously, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Spotify. Thank you for joining us. The phone lines are open. Wayne, thank you for throwing it in the feed. You can give us a call or you can text us 833-667-8251. All right, Wayne, as promised, I got to ask you from time to time, what am I missing? What did I forget? Where are we at?
Well, where we're at, I'm trying to keep track of.
All right, cool. Right. Well, I don't know how much easier I can make it by saying just play whatever segment you want and I'll dovetail in, right? It's very fateful. Whatever fate throws at us, Wayne, we'll just dovetail right in. So let me see.
Here it goes.
We did our Twitter, right? We did our Lowlife's Making Headlines. Oh, please. Jousting. Oh, wait a minute. We have a new segment with just a few minutes to go. We have a new segment to announce today, Wayne, don't we? You're absolutely right. How could I have forgotten about one of my favorite segments? Return to vendor, because some DNA just needs to go back. Yeah, I'm with you. Thank you, Wayne, very much for reminding me. Now am I on a schedule, on cue, right? Planes getting ready to land and all. All right, so here's the thing. Let's just cut to the chase. Return to vendor. Oh, geez, I wonder what Brian's trying to say about return to vendor. What could that look? Return to vendor. Here's the thing. And I'll have, and let me just say, Wayne, get ready for all the emails, right? Get ready for all the texts. I'm throwing down the gauntlet. Anyone's welcome to call or text us. People say, oh, I'd rather one evil man be let go, or I'd rather 10 evil men be let go. Maybe 100. I'd rather 1,000 evil men be let go than one innocent man be executed. That's nuts. All I'm simply suggesting, return to vendor means, because they've done studies. If you get caught doing a crime, especially a felony, you've done dozens of them before they nail you. So in order to make humanity safe for our kids and our grandkids, I'm all over announcing today, return to vendor. Some DNA just needs to go back. So what am I suggesting? I'm telling you out, no suggesting. I'm not even implying it. I'm stating categorically, I'm a huge fan of the death penalty, right? Someone has got to protect other people. Some DNA just needs to go back. Now, people say, oh, okay, well, if not the death penalty, like this guy we talked about yesterday, Wayne, that killed his pregnant girlfriend, then left her body alongside of the road. Now, I'm sure there's people listening going, well, was that all that bad? Okay, if not, he dumped her body underneath within plain view of a police camera. His DNA needs to go back because he's just too plain stupid to be left here. So I'll meet everyone halfway. If you're not a fan of the death penalty, although I am, if you're not a fan of the death penalty, I'll meet you halfway. So, return to vendor, send them back to jail. Some DNA just needs to go back. You feloniously take the life of another human being, I think you forfeit your freedoms. I think your DNA is returned to vendor, like in the outdoor industry, Wayne. And let me also thank, Wayne, everyone on YouTube that's talking about the Netflix special, what is it? Not Urban Preppers. What is it called? Oh, Doomsday Preppers, right? Now we sound like Chucky Schumer. The darkest night in the history of our country. You want to see a dark night in the history of our country? You want to see a group of dark nights, months? You want to see some dark years? Let little Chucky get control of the Senate. That'll make you some dark years, I'll tell you. Miss Putnam says, my grandfather was in prison 27 years for shooting a man in self-defense. Finally, he got out in 1978, then died 2 years later. Well, I'm really sorry to hear that, especially with some of our self-defense laws. But at least he got out. I'm very glad he got out. Now, look, here'd be a perfect example. It's Miss Putnam's grandfather. Says, well, look, if we had gone with the death penalty, he wouldn't have had a chance to get out at all. So I'll meet you on that. But we're not talking cases here where shooting a man in self-defense, where there's some gray area. Right? Apparently the jury felt there was some gray area. So we don't run to the death penalty with areas like that. I'm sorry, my friend, to have made you think of something that I guess would be painful. I'm sure would be painful. But I'm glad to say that at least he got out and that we need to look at some things. You know, I heard someone say on the radio earlier that, well, store owners, with all the looting going on in Philadelphia overnight, store owners saying, well, we ought to be able to use deadly force to protect our property, just like we can protect our homes. That's up to us to elect the right legislators to make sure that's encoded in the law. But before we run to our last break, come back to our last segment, we're talking about areas. Thank you, Wayne. We're talking about areas where there is no gray. Return to vendor because some DNA just needs to go back. All right, Wayne. If you and I had just 60 seconds to catch up, well, I'd remind you of all the natural resources, those innate abilities you possess from the get-go. Far from inert, these are the skills you arrived with. You're pre-equipped, batteries included, so to speak. You've probably heard me say that everything you've ever truly needed, you've always had. Now, outside, or better yet, beneath the debates of nature versus nurture, notwithstanding the ramblings of the tabula rasa crowd, this one and only intellectual savvy is yours at birth. Bottom line, you were born with the right stuff. Your street smarts or your buried logic, along with your authentic vigor, which is your essential drive, not only to survive, but to thrive, well, they combine to create within you a cunning clarity, a prowess, a unique knack of knowing how to unfold the moment at hand. It's like working a Rubik's Cube. You instinctively feel how to navigate the ups and downs, the lefts, the rights, the pivots and swerves of life itself as it plays out around you. You decode your day, plain and simple. Now, it's quite fair to say that many have left their indigenous capabilities to atrophy, maybe out of amnesia or just downright apathy. But there is good news. These capacities and strengths, they may be dormant, but they are far from dead. Though lethargic, they are always with you, latent and lurking, as I like to say, ready to be called and pressed into action. So here we are. It's up to you. Will you take life as it comes with passivity or passion, allowing your head and your heart to hibernate until the day it's too late to rise to the call? Or will you greet fate head on, shoulders squared, always ready to unwrap whatever she throws at you? If you and I had just 60 seconds to catch up, I'd remind you that your passion is never past its prime. And I'd ask you, is today the day you discard the sluggishness you've learned, the habitual that's dragging you down and holding you back? Is today the day you unleash the talents smoldering within? Is it? That feeling of having hit pay dirt and triumph, that's your gut talking. So I'll get out of here, and you can crank up the volume and once and for all, go mortal up. All right, so that's our mortal up a minute for today. We're talking about your natural resources. We're talking about those things gifted by divinity itself that maybe you've let atrophy, right? I know we've talked at length about what happens if you break an arm or you break a leg. Well, the muscle atrophies until you get the cast off, till you get the sling off, till you put it back to its normal range of motion. Well, that's all we're talking about today is your natural range of motion, not normal, right? Because the things that are normal in life certainly don't make them natural. You might normally drink a case of beer every day. Doesn't mean that that's the naturally right thing to do. You might smoke a pack of cigarettes every day. That might be normal. Doesn't make it for the natural thing to do. The mashugana going on everywhere in the world. Well, of late, it's certainly normal, but that doesn't make it natural. And that's why we're talking about your natural resources, your authentic vigor. your buried logic. Those things that when you combine the two, it's combustible. And that creates the clarity to allow you to look at the moment at hand and going, all right, what are they throwing at me? Now, in law enforcement, I thought a lot about Miss Putnam talked about her grandfather. And I would say I'd rather be tried by 12 than carried by 6. At least your grandfather, though he spent 27 years for it, he defended himself. I'd rather be tried by 12 than carried by 6. We used to say that all the time. But your natural resources, it's combustible. When you put those two together, we used to say you got to weaponize your surroundings. So if you don't like including the word weapon, how do you actualize your surrounding? How do you make it? Makes me think to that movie, Wayne, with Keanu Reeves. There's been 2 or 3 or 4 of them now. He goes after everybody. Not the Matrix, whatever he's done of late. Anyone knows, please let me know here in the feed. John Wick, thank you very much. John Wick. And in one of the episodes, they're talking about, I watched him one time in a bar fight, and he killed 8 guys with a pencil. With a pencil. Now, I'm not suggesting we run out and stick a pencil in somebody, right? What I am suggesting is in the movies, he's an expert about weaponizing his surroundings. And all I'm suggesting that when you magnify the moment, when you tap your natural resources and bring them front and center, you're actualizing the moment at hand, allowing you to take all the baloney that fate throws at you and redirect it, parry it, if you will, in such a way that it only supports, not injures your destiny. So with the election coming up, with all these different things going on to distract you, don't be distracted. They want you distracted from who you ultimately are. They want you sideways. The last thing they want is for you to know you're built to do sideways. They want you sideways because you're easier to control. They want you enraged because you're easier to control. They want you offended. They want you triggered. They want you watered down. They want you believing in microaggressions because you're easier to control. And I'm simply here to suggest never, ever fall for it. Remember who you ultimately are. And if you don't think this is true, look in the mirror. Not at your face, your chest, your legs. Look into your eyes. When's the last time you leaned into the mirror and looked into what is the actual color, the actual pattern? Could you draw the pattern of your eyes? And of course, your mind will be, there's all kinds of meshuggah running around in your own mind. Mine too. But there will come a whisper. There will come a voice. There will come a gut calling to you. And that's the voice to listen to. And that's the voice that makes you unstoppable. All right, Wayne, before I get ready to thank everyone over on YouTube and Twitter and here on Facebook, before we get ready, well, I guess I just did thank everyone for joining us today. Before I get ready to thank the people that are joining us on RadioBry.com, right? Counterpunch.media for the people joining us at MortalUp.com. Thank you all so very much. We super appreciate the time to hang together. And to those listening on Spotify, iTunes, and iHeartRadio, thank you very much. All right, Wayne, in the closing couple of seconds, what do I got? What did I forget? What do you know?
Well, I think you actually made it through everything.
I did make it through everything. And you know what I realized is that we have to synchronize the clock because I hit the studio clock and hit the call times right at 9:59 each time, right? The 9:59th second of each time. But here's what it just dawned on me. Our clocks aren't in sync. So we got to figure out when you want me to hit the clock, when everything goes out to Facebook, when. So there's that. Great. Well, thank you very much. So I hit all the call times. What else is going on in the world? I haven't been able to look at any of the feeds, but what we have coming in here, anything new and exciting going on in the world? Let me give a shout out to the New York Post just in case. Cruising for a bruising. Senator rips into Twitter boss over censorship of post. Boy, I don't know if Jack could go any more for the Moses look. Look at that beard. All right. Anything else, Wayne?
Yep, I think you pretty much got it. I know I haven't been able to get out there and read much news or watch much news lately.
Yeah, with everything you've got going on. Nothing from the Ruth Bader Ginsburg Ouija board that we have set up there in the studios in Michigan. Can't glean anything from her yet?
No, we can't glean anything from her. And matter of fact, I'm actually trying to find a place to put it.
Yeah, look at you.
I'm
look
actually
at
trying
everything
to find a place to put the Ouija board.
You have one of those things? No, I love that desk. I have one of those.
I'm running out of room.
Maybe you could put it right there on the gray tub in front of you.
That's the green tub with all the extra equipment and cables.
Oh, man, you got everything. Look at all that. The server. Yeah, well, let's not give away your location, right?
Yeah.
Like I used to say at Doomsday Prepper all the time when they'd ask, what kind of weapons do you have? I'm not telling anybody. I have no weapons, zero ammunition. You know what? These people tracking you down, taking all your stuff. Well, what's that one just to your right? It looks like an audio with the blue peaks and valleys to your right. What is that one? I don't even know what that.
That's actually the analytics for YouTube streaming.
Oh,
the live
wow.
feed.
Man, you've got it dialed in. Well, Wayne, thank you again for everything as we get ready to run. Thank you for everything you do to get us up on air every day, all the graphics, all the counsel. Thank you so very much. All right, Wayne, we're going to go ahead and get out of here until tomorrow, which I guess is tomorrow. Oh, it's Halloween tomorrow. Until tomorrow, have a very great day. We will see you then. Wayne, I'm out.
Thanks for listening to the Brian Brawdy Show. Until next time, get out there and mortal up.